say Ashe. If you're giving thanks for life, let me hear you say Ashe. If you came to turn up with me as we celebrate Black Media, Black History, let me hear you say Ashe. Mama Africa, how are you doing? Mama, y'all clap with me, come on. Mama Africa, long time to see you, Mama. They took me away from you, Mama. Yeah, long before I was born. They took me away from you, Mama. Oh yeah, long before I came home. Africa, Ashe, our motherland. Come on, our fatherland, on which our ancestors stand. Africa, the mother of civilization, the father of culture, of good vibrations. Come on. We give thanks, what? To all our ancestors, all throughout the land. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ashe, to all our ancestors. We give thanks. We give praise. Ashe. To all our ancestors of Kemet, now Egypt. To all our ancestors of Nubia, now the Sudan. Come on. To all our ancestors of Kush and Axum, now Ethiopia and Eritrea. To all our ancestors of Put, now Somalia. To all our ancestors of the Congo, Great Zimbabwe, of Yoruba land, of Igbo land, of Hausa land, of Fulani land, all of our ancestors on whose shoulders we stand, to all those ancestors who paved the way for civilization and those who made it possible for us to be here in this nation. Y'all know what to say. And so to all of our ancestors whose names we know, whose names we don't know, but whose energy contributes to our positivity and allows us to grow. To all of those ancestors, we say what? And so now I want you to call on the good and righteous ancestors that you know that have allowed us to blossom, to develop, and to grow. Ashe. 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 Ashe.
Fred Hampton.
Ashe. 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 Ashe.
George Floyd.
Ashe. 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 And so to all of those ancestors, we give abundant thanks and praise. All that we know, all that we don't know, all whose positive energy has allowed us to blossom, develop, and grow. As today is a special day in Africa, in Yoruba land, in what is now Nigeria, Togo, Benin. Today is actually Yoruba New Year. So on our ancient African calendar, we're in the year 10,344, I believe today is. And so we just welcome new energy, as there are many different ways for us to tell time, but it's important that we do tell our time so we're always in alignment with the divine. And so with this water, as we use water, because our bodies are made up of water, and so is Mother Earth. And we give thanks for the power of water that allows us to live life for what it's truly worth. So I say this, Yoruba prayer from the Odu Ifa Ejiobe about the power and the spirit of water. And I get abomi tutu ntomboye, abomi tutu ntayeshe, ela geje abomi tutu ntayeshe, ela geje kyo abawa tunile aye tawashe. Omyo, we give thanks for the spirit of water that comes from heaven. It makes its mark on this earth. May we be like water. May we always make a positive mark on our community. Ashe?
This is an award show, so we're going to be getting right into the awards. We're also going to have some amazing speakers that are going to be talking to you all again about the moments, some of the issues that we're dealing with. And so to help present the first award of the night, I'd like to call up Kevin Epps, who is a Hunter's Baby. He's a baby filmmaker. He's also chair of the board of the SF Baby newspaper. Welcome, Kevin, who's presenting the award to Will Hammond.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that, family. This next award for this brother who some of y'all might know, some of y'all might not know, but he's been a tremendous asset to the work that we do in the community. He's also, I don't want to put him in a box and say he's a filmmaker, because he's an all-around creative genius. And a lot of the technical streaming and things that's been going on in our community, Will Hammond is at the forefront of that. And oftentimes, you know, people that do the work don't get recognized. So we wanted to pay homage to this brother for his tremendous work. And we work together a lot on film projects. We do a lot of media stuff, you know, across the board. But oftentimes, even in my work, when it's time, when I need a go-to guy around technical stuff and streaming, I call Will Hammond. Because I know Will is solid and we can work professionally. It's like my big brother, man. You know what I'm saying? And I want to give this award to you, brother, for your tremendous work and your steadfast
I really appreciate him honoring me at this time, and along with the New World Media. The most important thing we can do is spread love amongst ourselves and use this media to tell the stories about us that we really want people to know. Everybody else makes up a lot of other stuff, but it's up to us to tell the stories. Programming is not what's coming on TV tonight, it's what they're doing to you. And until you understand that, until we turn that around so that we can present the information and knowledge that we have to get to our young people, our children, nothing's going to change. We can't expect them to do anything but what they're already doing. It's up to us, the black media, to carry out the message that we need to get to our people. So just support this black media wherever, whenever, wherever, always. Send love to the black media, because we got love for you. Thank you so much.
So moving on to our second award of the night, I'm going to actually call up Davey D to help me present this award. Davey D is a radio host, a DJ,
How y'all doing? Good? All right. First, I think we definitely need to take account that we're having these Black Media Awards, considering what's going on around the country, where our narratives are being erased, classroom and curriculum being removed, and revisionist history is coming up. You know, they're trying to act like we never did anything. And when we talk about the things we do, it's considered a threat. It's something that needs to be outlawed. So we definitely have to take hold of the institutions that we own. And, you know, in this case, it's the SF Bayview, and uplift it and make sure that it's fortified and ready to take on the challenges that come before us. I do a show called Hard Knock Radio, and I get a lot of credit and a lot of props for it. But anybody who's in media will know that it's not a one-person show. There's usually a team that you roll with it. And on my team is the next recipient. Her name is Anita Johnson. Now, I know Anita, you can give it up for her. I go back with Anita, it looks like almost 30 years. And I've been telling people I'm 25, so, you know, that gotta suspend that for a minute. But she started out at youth radio and then came on to the show that I was doing on KML as an intern and a contributor. 30 years later, you know, she's the one that puts the shows together. She's the one that books the guests. She's the one that goes into the station and deals with the politics, which are often toxic. So she got scars on her back. She's the one that deals with the everyday heavy weightlifting that can take a toll on people. So that's extremely important that we recognize that. A lot of times those type of individuals are unsung and we don't often know the sacrifices and the things that they entail. Professionally, I'll tell you just a few things and we'll bring her up. She contributed to NPR's Morning Edition for a number of years. She was a contributor to Street Knowledge, which was the show I did on KMEL. She was the senior producer for a CD project called 175 Progress Drive, which brought attention to the case of Mumia Abu-Jamal. And she was, as well as George Jackson and Attica and Black Liberation. She helped co-found Hard Knock Radio, so we give it up for her on that. She was awarded the AIR's Public Radio Makers Quest 2.0. She was the assistant to the Association of Independent Art and projects created to illuminate the impact of HIV and AIDS. And in 2010, she co-produced the documentary film COINTELPRO. She's also a damn good MC and somebody who has my back when we are, you know, dealing with this radio station and this radio show. So without further ado, let's give it up for Anita Johnson.
I want to thank my cohort in radio, journalism, DVD. I'll keep it short and sweet. For the most part, you know, I'm in the front, but mostly in the back. So I just want to thank the Black New World Media. I want to thank SF Baby. I want to thank JR. I want to thank the people, my family and friends who support me throughout the years. And the ones who, like my best friend is here. At times, you know, things get really hard and daunting. We deal with news every day, and not always the best part of it, right, of life. So those people that support me during those hard times and difficult times. Last year, I mentioned this on the air, I lost both my mother and my father, back to back. Literally buried my mother, the next day I got a phone call that my dad had passed away as well. So moving from that into this and being honored is a blessing. I know my family, my ancestors are here, you know what I'm saying? And other times it's just supporting Black people, you know? So supporting Black people in the work that we do that many times goes unnoticed and unrecognized. So I want to thank everybody that's here, and again, I want to say I appreciate the support. Thank you so much.
I have the honor of introducing our next awardee. Rashid Shabazz has been a mentor and someone I consider my family for over a decade. We first met in college, organizing on different campuses with the African Black Coalition. He was one of the first who showed me how journalism can play a role in movement organizing, in social justice work, and helping to educate the masses. He is now working as the co-director of Oakland Voices, and he is the instructor for the community journalism class, teaching others how to do exactly what he does. He's also the person that I know all of my information about the history of the city of Alameda, and one of the only Black folks I know who was raised in the city of Alameda. So please welcome Rashid Shabazz, our third awardee.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon or good evening. Thank you so much for this award. Alhamdulillah. Shout out to my mama, my artist editor for the California Voice. So, you know, get it from my mama. And really grateful for the Bayview, one of the first publications I got to put my byline in, 2006. And so I'm grateful for that experience and that platform being there. Just keeping it real brief, my shero, Ida B. Wells, said, the people must know before they can act, and there's no educator like the press. And so just encourage folks to continue to press on. Black press is a sword and a shield. So keep protecting the people and keep chopping these devil's horns off. Thank you.
Okay, well now we're going to take a really short break from awards, and we're going to hear from some amazing community leaders and speakers. But first I'd like to bring out is the grandson of a famous political prisoner. So I was just at the See the Time exhibit in Oakland. Anybody went to see it at the Oakland Museum? Nobody? Okay, it closes on June 11th, but it's about Angela Davis. And a lot of it's around the Free Angela movement when she was incarcerated for around 16 months, wrongfully. And there had to be a whole international movement that brought attention to her case. Well, we're still in one of those moments, and it's not Free Angela, but people have been saying Free Mumia. Free Mumia Abu-Jamal. He has been a political prisoner for several years. He's a prolific writer. He is a Black Panther and a political prisoner that is in prison for the organizing and the work and the education that he was doing and that he continues to do inside. So please help me give a warm welcome to his grandson, Jamal Hart Jr.
How's everybody doing today? Everybody feeling all right? We all got jobs to do. And as journalists, your job is to tell the truth, right? You tell what's real because journalists' job is to inform the public. A Black journalist's job is not only to tell the truth, but to also defend the people in a world where they're invested in telling lies about us, right? I'm here today because my grandfather can't be. Mumia Abu-Jamal, Black journalist. In a time where people were being persecuted, assaulted, harassed for telling the truth, Mumia, because he had integrity, kept telling the truth. He tells me all the time that he lost a lot of jobs, right? Because he just couldn't be a company man and do what they told him, right? Because he felt like if he let his morals down, he let y'all down. He let the people down. Mumia Abu-Jamal is in jail today because he refused to give up on telling the truth. Malcolm X says, when we turn I into we, even illness becomes wellness. It's not just you out here. And this is why you tell the truth, right? Because it's not just you. This is why you tell the truth and you keep integrity, because it's not just you, right? It's not just you. When somebody offers you something, it's not just you, because you're taking it to betray everybody else, right? And I'm sorry to be getting all heavy. I know this is a celebration. But there's a reason why we have to have these celebrations. There's a reason why we have to honor your achievements while you're doing them, because it's hard. Every single day is hard. None of it's perfect, but that's what makes us beautiful, right? I said none of us is perfect, but that's what makes us beautiful. We're going to talk about integrity for a second. And I say that a lot every time I get up on the podium, because like people forget, like we're in a generation where people are trading integrity for money. Like for real, they're trading integrity for money. That's how bad capitalism got people. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep moving, keep advancing the culture forward. But do so knowing that every decision that you make has to be done with integrity. And I know it's hard. Well, again, none of us is perfect. But being a journalist, that is the boulder that you carry on your back. That is the weight of being a journalist, of being a respectable journalist. Because you're not just reporting for you and your people, you're reporting for anybody that reads or hears your story. Integrity. Say that word. Integrity. Integrity. Whenever you're producing something, think about integrity. Because Mumia Abu-Jamal in the bowels of prison, he kept his integrity. He speaks up for everybody. He never even speaks up for himself because he has that integrity. 40 plus years in prison. We all got jobs to do. And I think, judging by the collection of people that we have here, we're going to do a good job. And we're going to move forward with integrity. None of us is perfect. You have your flaws, you have your bonuses, but it's up to you, each person that's next to you, behind you, in front of you, to hold you up, make you shine, and remind you of your integrity. Much love to you all. You have a good one.
Thank you again to Jamal and to your entire family for fighting with integrity for all of us. Speaking of integrity, I want to talk a little about justice with compassion, justice done right. We actually have elected district attorneys in the state of California. Each county elects their own. There are 3 Black women out of the 58 elected DAs in our state. All 3 of them are in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Alameda, and Contra Costa. We are very blessed and honored to have newly elected Alameda County District Attorney, Pamela Price, who is going to share some remarks with us. Please welcome DA Price to the stage.
It's my honor to be here tonight. I am the first non-anointed district attorney in 100 years in Alameda County. And every day I know when I go to work, everything I do is historic. And it's a joy in that sense to get to be a Black woman in that situation. As Elisa has shared, there are 3 Black women out of 58 district attorneys in the Bay Area, in California. But there are a number of us across the country. I'm part of a movement of progressive district attorneys that was in fact led by Black women like Kim Fox in Cook County, Chicago. All right, give it up for Kim. And a number of sisters around the country. And we are under attack by the media, for the most part, and by those who are manipulating the media and using the media to make us out to be unfit, unqualified. But every day that I get to go to work, I get to be unapologetically Black. That brings me joy, and I appreciate the support of the Black media, the role of the Black media, because we see in the Bay Area that the media has a little bit of trouble dealing with the unapologetically Black woman. They got a few issues around that. But the Black media has been supportive before I was the district attorney, and I have supported the Black media. I love the Bayview, I love the Oakland Post. I think that it is so clear that Black media historically has been a foundation for the liberation of Black people. The brother quoted Ida B. Wells Barnett, who is also one of my sheroes, and often, for many years, I would say, what would Ida do? because she would always know how to stand up for what was right, how to be courageous, and she was extremely courageous in the face of some terrible times. And those of us in this time, what we face is almost nothing compared to what our ancestors faced. I had the privilege of going to Montgomery, Alabama a couple of months ago and walking across the Edmund Pettus Bridge and sharing or listening to the story shared of how people marched for 10 days from Selma to Montgomery in March, and it was not warm, and there were snipers on the road, along the sides of the road, and the road wasn't paved in all the places. But they marched for 10 days for us to have the right to vote. They changed this country. And that is what I remember Reverend Jackson saying years ago. We live in a Martin Luther King Jr. democracy because it was black people and led by Dr. King in collaboration with other folks as well who changed this democracy and made it real. And so I stand here today as a product of that legacy, as a reflection and a beneficiary of the right to vote and of those who did vote in Alameda County for change. And so it's an honor to be here tonight to know that we have a black world, a new black world media that's going to continue to tell our stories. It's going to continue to move us forward, that is going to continue to walk and live and breathe and exist in the legacy of Ida B. Wells Barnett. So I thank you all for tonight, and I'm honored to be here. And I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing because I know that I'm here for a reason and that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And let me just say this, as you all know, the media, the mainstream media has been totally tripping out on the fact that a black woman is in charge in Alameda County. But everywhere I go, and it has been a blessing to know that the people are ready for the change. The people voted for the change, and the people support the change. And everywhere I go, people say, "Sister, I got you. We are praying for you. I'm in your prayer. You're in our prayer circle." And I cannot tell you how that has strengthened me and will continue to gird me against the slings and the arrows of anything that comes forward, because I know that I am doing what is necessary for us to be free. Thank you.
Thank you, D.A. Price, for your service and leading with integrity. We are going to hear one more speaker before we get back to our awardees. This is also another black woman who is serving in criminal justice and accountability. Michelle Phillips is the Inspector General for the City of Oakland. She heads the office, which is one of the newest. It is part of the Police Commission and the large structures of police oversight and accountability that Oakland has been working on and needed for a long time. So please welcome to the stage Inspector General Phillips.
Good evening, everybody. Okay, y'all still woke. I appreciate it. I want to thank Alyssa for the very warm, amazing welcome. I want to thank all of you for coming out this evening. It's a lot going on in San Francisco and Oakland and the Bay Area, period, but you guys decided to be here with all of us. JR, I want to thank him tremendously. He is absolutely amazing and phenomenal. I've been here for 18 months, and he is the first journalist who hunted me down and kept on me and was like, "You're gonna sit down and you're gonna give me an interview," giving me a platform to let people know and to educate people about what the Office of the Inspector General does. So I want to take the time to just give him a round of applause for caring enough about black people and black women to make sure that we do that. So brother, I appreciate you always. Thank you. I just want to say it's a pleasure to fellowship with all of you. With a lot of very impactful culture makers, innovators, and change agents tonight. We are not only celebrating our local black media and community, but honoring the life and legacy of Minister Emory Douglas. Can we give a round of applause? As Oakland's first Inspector General, make no mistake, I would not be standing here before you if it were not for the young, impactful trailblazers, our heroes and sheroes. We're going to call them the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. Before there was any police commission, before there was any police oversight, before there was any civilian oversight, there was the party. Black men, Black women, dedicated to protecting their communities of Black people by any means necessary, even if, and oftentimes when it was going toe-to-toe with law enforcement, including the police departments. What the Panthers understood that many of us have yet to understand and figure out in America today, since its inception, it's suffering from an identity crisis. In the land of the free, nearly 2 million people go to sleep behind bars. Our tired, our poor, our hungry, huddled masses are left to suffocate on the streets of Oakland and all over urban cities throughout the United States and beyond. And those entrusted to protect and serve are often the brokers of the violence. Simply put, our communities are under attack. It is our responsibility to ensure that we utilize the weapons that we have, and I'm not talking about guns, I'm talking about Black media, I'm talking about our voices, in order to do what we need to do to move forward in the appropriate fashion. Jamal said that we have to do it with integrity. That is one of the pillars and goals of the Office of the Inspector General, to be fair, to be firm, to be impartial, and to ensure that what we do is with integrity, so that we are above board always. In the Office of the Inspector General, this means carrying the baton of police oversight and accountability. As a leader of a nonprofit, that may mean providing services and resources to those in need. As our next Congresswoman for California's 12th District, this means continuing to be the courageous fighter as all of us know and love. For those in the media, it is to hold a clean mirror to those of us in positions of power. Not only for us to see ourselves, but for the collective to have a clear view and understanding of who we are and what we stand for. Media has always and continues to play a critical role in advancing us to become a more honest and understandable nation full of integrity and accountability. I cannot imagine where we would be in police reform today if not for the footage of Rodney King, the footage of George Floyd, Oscar Grant, Tamir Rice, Sandra Tate, Eric Gardner, Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, and many, many others. Honestly, way too many to name. With the activists and the journalists brave enough to tell those stories unapologetically, we do appreciate you. For everybody being honored tonight, we appreciate you. For everybody staying in this audience, holding everybody accountable, including myself, I appreciate you. Therefore, many thanks to the San Francisco Bayview newspaper for inviting me to share a few remarks, and I hope that you all have an incredible evening. Again, I want to thank you. I am the Inspector General for the City of Oakland, the very first Inspector General standing on the call. I wouldn't be here. I thank y'all so much. I appreciate you.
So if you didn't know, we have some powerhouses leading on criminal justice in the Bay. Now you know. Make sure you talk to them, look them up, follow them, because these women are doing amazing things. Thank you to our great speakers. we're going to get back into some of our awards, and we still have our keynote speaker, Latifah Simon, as well as our award to Emory Douglas. But right now, we're going to go into an award to a man who helped to found the Both Sides of the Conversation podcast.
Sounds like y'all may know him.
This is John Henry, founder of Both Sides of the Conversation podcast, which has a really simple philosophy to use conversations to empower our people. Thank you for being a champion for the San Francisco Bay Area and using this platform to bring education on social issues to our people.
Go, Joe!
They gave me the mic. I don't know why JR gave me the mic. I'll be up there all night, y'all. But I'm going to be short. Just want to say, one, thank you to Black New World Media, Bayview newspaper. Growing up in Hunters Point, that was our information. You want to know what was going on politically, or you want to know what was going on in our community. It always came through the paper. Through the years, there was always challenges and things that took place, but they was always there. And to be here tonight with all these amazing folks, Kev, my big brother, watching him do the work. But none of this happened without my team and the folks that make this all happen. I'm just the guy y'all see around, throwing up the black fist, loving on the black people, but really it's my Both Sides of the Conversation team, and all the amazing black folks across the city that support the work we do. I heard District Attorney Price up here, and it just made me think about District Attorney Jenkins, our mayor, London Breed here in San Francisco. We talk about changing the narrative and making sure that our voices is heard is very important. Our black leaders are getting slammed every day. And we understand politics is politics, but at the end of the day, those are black folks. And I just want people to realize that at the end of the day, those are the people that lead our community. They bring resources to our community, and they do the best that they can to give to our people. So many barriers. And I was one of those people coming up, and I remember London Breed said, you always got something to say, to get involved and do something. And then you get involved and you figure out all of the emails, all of the phone calls, and then it really check you and humble you to say, I gotta have a little bit more humility and compassion. I get thousands of phone calls and emails for the issues that impact our community every day. And when you start understanding the problems, the disparities, and all the issues that we have in our community, you start to understand what some of our elected leaders go through, and then you got these so-called people who are about black equity and inclusion and diversity. It's all performative. So the power is within us. The power is within us, and that's why we believe changing the narrative is through the voices of the people. And we will always lift up the voice of our people at both sides of the conversation. We will always respect our ancestors and those who come before us, because without you all, we don't be able to move forward the way we move. So thank you all, thanks to my team, and thanks for everybody here tonight.
We are big fans of John Henry. Our next awardee is actually going to be presented again by the chair of SF Bayview News and Hunters Point filmmaker Kevin Epps. So please welcome Kevin to introduce the next awardee.
So this next young lady who's coming up, I met her years ago when she was a young intern for Ave Montague. She was the founder of the San Francisco Black campus. Rest in peace, Ave. And since I've known her, she's always been in the trenches, covering our culture, our community, in so many dynamic ways, and just making sure our stories get told. She's still a young lady, so she did that when she was very young. And so I'm going to bring up this sister who writes for the SF Standard and has been on the beat of she's been on the pulse of the heartbeats that's been making the city go. And I appreciate her writing and just how consistent she is when it comes to putting the light and telling the stories of the black experience. I'm going to bring up this sister, Megan Mitchell, who is our sister who we love.
So this is like a full circle moment for me because I got my start in media in the Fillmore district. And I was actually working, how many people here remember 1300 on Fillmore? Okay, so if you went there, I was the person at the door, I was the hostess. And while I was there, I saw so many things happening. Not only did we have 1300, we had Yoshi's, We had all these black businesses along the corridor. We had Boom Boom Room, the Fillmore Auditorium. We had Chicago Barbershop. All these places, Miyako Ice Cream. And I thought, why didn't I know these places were still here? And I wonder how many other people know about these places. And then I met this amazing woman, Ave Montague. And Ave saw a light in me. She saw that I was charismatic, I was curious, I was interested in the community, and I really wanted to do something. So she took me on, not as an intern, but as an employee. And I started helping her, with the San Francisco Black Film Festival and with like some other fun projects that she was working on. Now, at the time, Barack Obama was about to be inaugurated. And she threw this huge event called Inauguration West. And that was like the official place that you would go if you were not going to DC. Around that same time, my sister called me and told me that she had access to the inauguration in DC. And I hesitated because I've been working so hard on this event with Ave that I didn't feel like I should go. But then finally I worked up the nerve to ask her, and I said, Ave, I have an opportunity to go to the inauguration. Can I have your blessing? And she's like, you're gonna miss a good party, but why would I tell you to stay here? Go, experience that. So I went, and it was amazing. And then I called her while I was there. I held the phone up, and I said, Ave, listen. And we were talking and talking, and then I couldn't hear her anymore, and I said, I'll call you back. So I got back to the hotel room, called her, couldn't get a hold of her, kept calling when I got back. I was thinking that I was fired for some reason, but Ave passed away. The last thing I said to Ave Montague was, I'll call you back. So ever since then, after meeting this person who brought all these amazing Black people into this community, just to show them what was going on, you'd see Danny Glover, Sidney Poitier, like all these like high-profile Black people that were coming into the restaurant that I was working, that was just experiencing what I was experiencing. Ever since then, I decided I'm gonna make sure that I continue to tell stories about people of color. I'm gonna make sure that people know. And for me, this is a full circle moment. I told Ave I would call her back, and then the way this is me calling her back. This is me saying, thank you for everything that you did for this community. Thank you to the people who are still in this community trying to fight. And as someone that's in this industry and chooses to stay in this industry, I'm committed to telling your stories. I'm committed to talking about your small businesses, your art walks, your band, whatever you want to talk about, call me. Because your stories matter and they deserve to be told. So thank you so much for having me.
This is graduation weekend. I had graduation today. How many of y'all have people graduating in your family? Yeah. Well, I mentioned the community journalism program a bit earlier with Brother Rashid's award. We actually want to acknowledge some of the recent graduates of the community journalism program. To help me introduce those graduates, please welcome the SF Bayview editor, J.R. Valerie.
First off, I just want to thank everybody for coming. Please clap it up for yourselves. There's a few people I want to point out. The publisher is here as a representative of the family, Mary Radcliffe, and Willie Radcliffe is not here. Can y'all clap it up for him? Also, I want to mention Melanie is here. She is one of the co-directors of the African American Art and Culture Complex. And her other sister is missing, Laura. Shout out to both of them. So, first off, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this community journalism program. We have a community journalism program at the Bayview because we understand that universities are not creating the kind of journalists that we need that speaks for our community and speaks to our community. If they have you covering our community, they make you do it in a different language. You know, it's not the Ebonics that we speak in our community. Now, that's not to say that it shouldn't be understandable, but it should connect with the people. What's the point of writing a piece for an audience that doesn't connect with the way you write? So, as the San Francisco Bayview, we created our own school. It's called the Community Journalism School. And it's been, about 12 weeks since we've been working on it. The people that are students, they are paid for their work. They are paid for coming. And our first 3 graduates, I'm very proud to say they have exceeded what I thought that they would do. All of them have been published in the newspaper probably about 5 times. Y'all can clap it up. Two out of the 3 before coming with us have never been published. So they began to get published and now they're published regularly. So without further ado, I want to introduce, I'm going to say 3 names so y'all can clap at the end. We're going to say, shout out to Zion Abiodun, my daughter. Zaire Sanders, our copy editor. And our writer, Marisha Murphy.
Telling the stories from the underground, from under the underground, you know what I'm saying, going places where they can't go, you know what I'm saying, giving voice to the voiceless. And so, you know, Hooker Boy, I'm gonna let him grab a mic because Hooker Boy is just, I'm just glad you're here, little bro, and I love you so much, man. We've been working together so long, and you just took it so long, man. So we wanted to give you this, you know, Daddy. You know what I'm saying? At Pamela Price, we got your back like a chiropractor. I want you to know, if you need us, you know what I'm saying? We got you. I'm gonna let Dave Hooker take over here. Thank you, brother. This award is, thank you, man, for the work you do. You know what I'm saying? This little bro, he's prolific. Google Hooker Boy, millions of views, tens of millions of views.
I thank my cousin JR for really putting me on, like, he really put me out there, like, with this media thing. Like, back in the day, I guess it was 2004, and I went to my cousin's house, and he was doing some editing, and I was like, how you do that, cuz? I want to know how to do that. So he was like, this your lane. You know how to do this, you gonna be. So ever since then, my cousin put me in with the editing. I've been doing it ever since, you feel me? So Shout out to JR, shout out to Kev, Kevin Epps put me in too. He gave me the motivation to do a DVD and to do a documentary type style. It was hood, it was like Oakland Gone Wild type stuff, but it was hood. But Epps gave me the power to do all that. Him and JR really, you know what I'm saying? So I just thank him, thank Mary too. Mary gave me jobs when I didn't have nothing when I was a young buck. Mary gave me jobs, I was delivering papers. You feel me? For the Bayview. But I just want to say thank everybody that came out. Thank my cousin, thank Kev, thank everybody who put this together. And if it weren't for y'all, it wouldn't be me. Thank you.
Hey, y'all have been a great audience. We're moving into our final speaker of the night, and then we'll get to our Lifetime Achievement Awards before we close out this amazing celebration. The next woman I'm going to bring to stage to speak with you all may not need an introduction. She is a long-time organizer, advocate, and public servant. She is currently an elected BART board director. She has also received a MacArthur Genius Fellowship. She has worked at various nonprofits, serving our youth, serving our children, serving transit, serving racial justice. She's a philanthropist who funds a lot of this work. She's also running to be our next Congresswoman. Please welcome to the stage, Latifah Simon.
Brought my little baby, who's now 27, that's how old I am, from Kaiser right across the street to 785 Apartment A. And you all know Amina just graduated from Howard Law School. Because this community has loved us. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Has loved on all of us through heart and soul and triumph and death and birth and rebirth. So I'm so proud and honored to be here tonight. I'm so proud of JR. I said I wasn't gonna cry. I was on the stage with this community in 2015 when we gathered for the first event, right? The first one, when JR said Black intellectual community-based journalism couldn't die, it can't die. And that was a year after my husband, Kevin Weston, my ancestor, the love of my lifetime. And we held that award with his mother, who is still here, and my baby girl, Layla, right over there. That picture is on my desk right by my bed, and I look at it every night and hope. One of the last things that Kevin wanted to do was to make sure that Black press in this Bay Area, with the people who have laid bricks down that are no longer here, afraid that their story, their triumph, their resilience, their pain, their joy, their love of their God, their pilgrimage from the South to come to find Jim Crow right here, that those stories wouldn't die. Tonight, we are reminded, regardless what happens and what they, meaning all of the theys, try to do, our stories are not going to die. In fact, we are memorializing this idea and understanding that we cannot die. That wars are begun and they are ended with the stroke of a pen. That Black journey and life is codified by the word, amen? It's codified by the word. Something so powerful as the Bayview, as the Post, as how we now communicate on these many mediums that are right in front of our eyes and right in our phones, Black journalists must have a home. They must have a training ground. They must have a dojo. They must have professors. They must have spiritual teachers. They must have paper and pen. And what we are doing in supporting the journalism school is our duty. It's our duty. Now, the last thing that I will say, and JR is too humble, but if I can do anything with you young, hard-headed brother, is teach you how to be a fundraiser. Come on. Because let me tell you something about Black people, we give 52 times a year. Come on, do you understand what I'm saying? Our grandmothers who nursed other people's babies, who cleaned other women's toilets, gave 52 times a week formally to the spaces where they came to pray. Come on. We must give to leaders, to savants who think and dream of spaces that we have not yet been. People like the Radcliffe, folks like JR, folks like my husband, like these young people who are learning to write the word that is in their head, their hearts, and the ones that they hear from people on streets. They see that we belong here. Even in the shaky times where we are trying to couple rent together with grocery money just to figure it out, not knowing how long we can stay. There are people who understand that our story, that our day-to-day, that our blood, that the prayers at every single graveyard must be written. Must be written. You walk down Fillmore Street and you see literally in the concrete the names of our grandmothers and grandfathers. Mine, Bunny Simon, is 3 blocks away. We need more than inscriptions in concrete. We deserve institutions like this. They have to stay. Our children have to have places to live, to dream, to cry, to weep, to study, to write. I want to encourage you all to think about ways in which we fund and support with $5 and $10 sometimes the person who gets on our nerves the most. I know for me it's JR Valerie. He's a warrior that thinks beyond what we can see.
Yeah.
And is clear. Instead of being mundane and going and following with the path, even of who we believe the righteous. He's been anointed, as I have many of you in this audience. Brothers and sisters, siblings, the Calvary isn't coming. There's nobody coming. There's nobody coming to save us. No one. It's us. It is us. There is nobody coming. And in that celebration of us, let's read it, let's write it, let's rejoice it, let's sing it. I'm so happy and proud of my new chief, of our new editor-in-chief. I am so proud that we refuse as a community to let the written word, the voice of African people die in this city, in this Bay Area. Let's never lose the radical feather of what made us survive. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, future Congresswoman. Follow her, support her. Y'all can also follow me at Victory for Oakland. Please follow us at Bayview News. We have social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as well. You can read our articles online, also pick up hard copies. So we're going to get into our final awards. We have 3 remaining, including our 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. But I'm going to invite up our editor-in-chief, JR Valerie, to introduce our 3rd to last awardee. Welcome, JR.
Well, he couldn't be here with us tonight, but his family is in the house. The No Vultures. Can y'all make y'all way back to the back? You know, but Rab is somebody that I grew up with on 85th. He's from 85th. Me and my family is from 83rd. And we grew up in the crack era. You know, some of my cousins got caught up, some of them didn't. Some of Rab people got caught up, some of them didn't. But Rab, from the streets, from the hood, and he thought about creating a podcast. He created his podcast, and now he has the biggest podcast in the Bay Area dealing with hip hop history. The biggest rappers from the area, they're on No Vultures. Y'all can clap it up, that's an accomplishment. So why we're giving him this award is because he created a platform out of nothing. Nobody was telling our history as far as our hip hop history. During the 50th year of hip hop, this is the 50th recognized year of hip hop, we had to give an award to Rab of No Vultures. This is his wife and his daughter coming to accept it. Y'all clap it. It's the daughter.
Hello, community and Bayview supporters. I'm Lynn Corlock, the daughter of Laura Rabb, and I'd like to accept this award on his behalf. My dad works very hard on his podcast. Sometimes he works throughout the night until the next morning with no sleep. In fact, the reason I'm here accepting this award on his behalf is because he's actually working on a project in the East Coast. Thank you to JR and the Bayview staff for the amazing honor. My dad is very proud. Good night and God bless.
All right, so we're moving into our final two awardees, our Lifetime Achievement Award. It's very heavy. It's a lifetime award that we are awarding here. So first person is Emory Douglas, and I'll say a few words before inviting him to the stage. So you cannot talk about the Black Power movement, you cannot talk about the Black Panther Party without seeing that iconic imagery. The Panthers, people in the movement, even free grocery programs had imagery, right? So people could understand, even children understood what the Panthers were doing, the message they were trying to send. Art has been such an incredible tool to communicate, again, to the masses, to educate, and to empower, I was just at the Angela Davis Seize the Time, and you can see Emory's work all over. Those images, those posters, talking about liberation. And he hasn't stopped talking with his art. Please give a warm welcome, congratulations for the lifetime achievements of artist Emory Douglas.
Thank you. I'm honored to accept this high honor in the spirit of the comrades who I work with, those brothers and sisters who have joined the ancestors, those who are still incarcerated, those who are still in exile, and those who still comrades who are still doing the work. In the spirit of the Black Panther Party, even though as an organization it doesn't exist, but we consider ourselves as victims of the Black Panther Party. That's right. And so we continue to work. I want to say that our paper was not a me paper, but a we paper. It was a reflection of our politics, what we were about. I recall when I first started on the second issue, which was a tabloid issue. The first issue was typed on a typewriter on a legal size sheet of paper, 8.5 by 14. It was about a young brother who had been murdered in Richmond, California, named Denzel Dow, by the Richmond police. And Huey Newton, the battlefield, took up his case. It was about that same time I came into the party, about 3.5 months after it had started, in October of 1966. I became involved in late January of 1967, being involved in the Black March movement, which is a broad movement. And living here in San Francisco at the time, a lot of young people trying to figure out what to do, what you can do to get involved because of the intensity of the police murders and always being justified, many rebellions taking place during that time because of that. And I remember going to a meeting, I was asked to come to a meeting where they were planning to bring Sister Betty Shabazz to the area to honor her. And they wanted me to do the artwork for that event because they knew of my work in the Black Arts Movement. And I agreed. And when I went to that meeting, there were some brothers that came over who they had said would come over to let them know if they were going to do the security for that event. When they came over and they agreed, that was Huey Newton and Bobby Seale and Little Bobby Payne. I knew that's what I wanted to be a part of. It was after that meeting that I asked them how I could join. They even had business cards then. They gave me a business card. I used to catch the bus over because I didn't have a car. And that was my first involvement with the Black Panther Party, transitioning into the Black Panther Party. Going fast forward to around April of 1967, they used to play a place called the Black House in San Francisco on Roderick Street. Elgin Street used to live upstairs, and all the cultural exhibits would go downstairs. And I remember going over there one day because Huey and them was trying to recruit Elvis because they knew him as a writer in prison, and they were trying to recruit him as the editor of the paper. And I seen him working on that first tabloid that I mentioned. And I told him I could help him improve because I had materials that I had left from City College when I went to City College. I went and got them, came back, and they said, well, we finished with that, but you seem to be committed because you've been coming around, and we're going to start our paper, and we want you to be you'll be the revolutionary artist, and eventually you become the minister of culture. He says, it's going to tell our story from our perspective. It's going to be like a double-edged sword. It can praise you on the one hand and criticize you on the other. And that was the fact. That's what it did. And what I recall, our distribution, our national distribution used to be up there on film. You'll see a plaque right where Yoshi's used to be on the street saying the Black Panther Party was here. That was our national distribution office when we began to develop and grow. And can you imagine though, young people, 15, 16, 17, 18 years of age. I was going on 21, going on 22. I think Huey Newton was 23. And the old folks in the party was 30 years old at that time. So this was a youth movement. This was on-the-job training. When I see these young people who come up and they were working with the Bay View, the JR got connected, this is a youth movement that started again. And this is what it should be, a youth movement. The Black Panther paper was so powerful. At the height of it, it had a circulation of 100,000 to 200,000. We had a scientific readership of over 400,000. To show you how impactful and powerful the press can be, is they used to wet our papers down at the airport before they got from one chapter to the next. You had workers out there who would start letting us know that. We had to get lawyers to go out there with us to make sure that the papers were not damaged before they left the location, they got to the other location. So that was the power of it. When they attacked our officers, and we resisted, but when they attacked our officers, they destroyed the breakfast food, everything else, and the newspapers. Always went the newspaper down. It was the power of the word. It was telling from our perspective, from our story. The paper became not just a local paper, but national and international. You had all the liberation movements all over in Africa, Asia, and Latin America that took the Black Panther Party newspaper. It helped inspire, inform, and enlighten. That's what it was about. And on that, I would say all power to the people. The struggle continues.
Of the night. So please welcome Kelda Music to the stage.
Hello, how y'all doing today, this evening? Yes, first of all, I'd like to thank JR for inviting me here. It's amazing to see all your beautiful faces, some familiar faces. You guys give it up for yourself. Like, seriously. All right, so in the summer of 1982, KPOO started playing rap music on Sunday afternoons from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. with DJ LeBaron, Lord King, and Marcus Clemens. Throughout the years, KPOO has given many artists their breaks, including Public Enemy, Bob Marley, Run DMC, Too Short, MC Hammer, E40, and so much more. As a hip-hop artist and previous guest on KPOO, I'm proud to present and honor the Black Media Arts Awards to one of San Francisco's finest stations that supports Black artists. Everyone, please welcome Donald Lacey.
Thank you. God bless you. First of all, Mayor, God bless you. First of all, I just want to say, are you as inspired by tonight as I am? Come on, man. I'm about to go knock down a mountain after this. Emory Douglas, come on now, Emory Douglas. All right, I'm on the last one, and I promise not to be long, but I just want to say I got to give it up to my little brother, JR. That's my little brother. I'm so proud of this brother. And I have been in Black media since I came out my mother's womb. No true story. My mama said when the doctor slapped me on the behind, I yelled so loud it was broadcast all over the hospital. So I've been in media. I first came to KPOO radio in 1978. I was, I was 19. And I want to give shout out to the KPOO founding fathers, Joe Rudolph, rest in peace, Terry Collins, Arnold Townsend, Judge George Colbert. As I always like to say when I'm on the air, now I've been on the air 40 years, I'm an unapologetic advocate for the Black community. If you don't like it, turn the channel. Seriously. But KPOO radio has been about freedom struggles around the world. KPOO radio was one of the first to broadcast the story on the Iran-Contra affair, which changed the trajectory of the Black community forever, with the crack cocaine being proliferated in our community, sponsored by the CIA and the US government, the real dope dealers. KPOO radio was longtime advocates for all political prisoners. In fact, I remember, and I think the brother's name, and I hope I'm not saying it wrong, Larry Lumpkin was murdered by a police officer in a parking lot. We got hold of the audio of him saying, I'm cool, and you could hear the police shooting him. We broadcast that on the air because we wanted everybody to know that police brutality and police taking our lives when we're unarmed and not doing anything has to stop. And KPOO radio, Joe Rudolph, Terry Collins, and the gentleman that I mentioned were behind the divestment movement. Divestment broke the back of apartheid. The first interview I ever did in 1978 was a leader of the ANC and a leader of SWAPO. Said, we're not giving money to the church to pray. We giving money to the freedom fighters to buy guns. This is what KPOO radio is all about. Don't get tight, because if you're in a freedom struggle, you're going to need guns. Don't get tight. I'm just telling you what it is. But KPOO radio, commercial free. We don't play no commercials about Zit Cream, Viagra, your breath, none of that. We just give news, music, and information to all communities. And we advocate. People ask me, what does KPOO stand for? Anybody know? Poor People's Radio Incorporated. We are the voice for the voiceless. And this, I accept this on behalf of JJ. People listen to JJ on the radio? JJ on the radio is a Black music historian. He only plays the original 45 RPMs. I can't make this up. He don't play no tracks off of CDs, off of YouTube. He has the original 45. They be a little scratchy, but he be playing. He's a black music historian. He's in the tradition of black radio that made me want to be in radio. KPIA, Lucky 13, the boss of the Bay. Right on, Bob Jones. KSOL with Sly Stone, the tradition of black radio. We have to keep supporting our media, and I'm going to leave you with this. KPOO San Francisco, baby, baby! My son, Anwar, that drop was made 33 years ago. He's now 35. He did that on one take, and he was 2 years old. So I want to say thank you for recognizing KPOO. Keep supporting black media. Black media is our lifeline for our survival. God bless us. Black to the future.
Okay, Al. So congratulations again to all of our awardees. I hope you all have a new list of shows, radio that y'all need to listen to and to watch. And please, again, follow the SF Bayview newspaper and on social media. You can visit their website to read our articles digitally. You can also pick up the hard copies of our paper. We have monthly editions that you can find in all of your local businesses, especially those that are black owned. We want to thank the Arts and Culture Complex for letting us host this here, and for all of you for being amazing supporters, for helping support all these artists and platforms. Many of y'all were awarded yourselves or were part of these artists becoming the creators that they are today. This is also a fundraiser, so we encourage you all to donate any amount of money to continue to have black voices, black stories represented in the black media. And I will hand it over to our great editor-in-chief, J.R. Bowery.
I just got something real like to say. Y'all clap it up for our host, Alyssa Hickman.
Thank you all and have a great night. Enjoy your weekend.